Andrew, is there a danger that with writing so many different genres, you become just a jack of all trades, a master of none?
I think that is the kind of question that you would ask to somebody who probably is delusional in some fashion. Like they aren't a very good writer, really. Nobody has the guts to tell them. And they're just trying loads of stuff out and just, throwing enough poo at the wall to see what sticks, really. I don't think it applies to me. What I would say about that saying is why can't you be the master of all trades? You could be, because the jack of all trades is like, oh, it's Jack, he tries lots of things. But if you're the master of all trades, then you can just, it doesn't matter what the genre is. You want a horror film, here it comes. You want a romantic comedy, which is so easy because if you ever watch a romantic comedy, you find that they're not funny. So you can get into the romantic comedy bit just if you have somebody like slipping over like halfway through. The scene where like the guy, they'll go ice skating and the guy will like slip over and the girl will go, oh, help him up, and they'll go ha 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 ha, and then they end up just like looking at one another. That's it. If you've included that scene, the rest of the film can be entirely straight, and they'll go, oh, did you see that lovely romantic comedy? Doesn't need to be funny. See, my awareness of what people want and all the different genres that are available makes me a special candidate to be master of all trades. So I would say fundamentally I reject the question. I mean, I've answered it, which suggests acceptance, but no, it's a rejection from me.
Andrew, what if the world is actually just a simulation and you're really the only thing that actually exists?
That's an interesting one. Definitely one that I've thought about before. When I was younger, I almost believed it, in that anything that would happen to me seemed to revolve around, what I was doing. People would talk to me about things and then they would sort of seemingly vanish. And I think what I took forward into later life was the very real sense that even if other people exist, and I think that they do, even if they exist, they don't matter. To put that in a very positive context, if you were to do something and somebody were to come and they were to criticize you, they would say, oh, this is a terrible thing that you've done. What you need to remember is that they will turn around and walk away, and in 5 minutes, less than 3 minutes, they'll be thinking about what they're going to have for dinner. Whereas you, by the effect of their words, will be thinking about things that they've said and potentially modifying your life. What you have to get used to is the idea that other people's opinions are irrelevant. They're not important, particularly when they pertain to the things that you're doing. We're surrounded today by trees, which are kind of silent creatures. If all the trees in the world hated us and they were trying to kill us in slow motion, you would say, well, this is dangerous, but they're not equipped to do it. When I was a bit younger, in the front garden we had a tree, and it caused a flood because underground, one of the roots wrapped around the pipe underground and cracked it, because the tree knew that there was water in the pipe that it wanted. That's very clever. That suggests a living thing that might hate us, but it can't do anything about it because it moves too slowly. We're surrounded by dogs. People like dogs, and why do people like dogs? Because most people are like dogs. They like things that are like them. Quite simple, you know, joy from running after a ball, or, you know, sniffing one another. You go, oh, that sounds trivial, you're making people seem silly. But if you can make people run after balls, and people privately do like sniffing each other. What's the difference? And just as I said earlier, a dog's opinion of you doesn't matter. So if the world is a simulation and this is all for my benefit, it doesn't, you know, it's the same. Whether it is or it isn't, I still have total control.
Andrew, what's the one thing that people misunderstand about you?
I think that they misunderstand how creative I am. They don't. It's hard for people, and I get it actually. I mean, I do get it because I spend time with people. It's hard for them to fathom it. So, a normal person, say, a good person, a friendly person. Have you ever seen Dragon's Den? You ever seen Dragon's Den, the show where people go in and they say, I've invented this hand cream, it's really great, or I've invented a new kind of lock on a door. And they go in there and they say, oh, when did you come up with this idea? Oh, 10 years ago. Okay. How long have you been trying to make money from it? Oh, 5 years. Have you made any money from it? Oh, we've sold 35 of them. And they go, oh, well, this sounds like a bad idea, but we'll give you some money, but we want 40% of the business because you're not really pulling up any trees here. We think the product is good, but you know, you're never going to get anywhere without us, and for that reason we want a big slice of the pie. And all people think about is the pie. They think there's only one pie, it's only ever going to be one size, and if I give 40% of it away, that's less pie for me. They never think about how much that pie could grow with help. And why do they think that? They think that because they know in their heart of hearts that they will only ever have one good idea. That is it. This is the only idea they're going to have. The idea that they've walked in with, they racked their brains for, they dredged it from their minds, or the ether if you believe in the ether, and from there they said, this is it for me. If I can't make money from this, I'll never be a rich man. So from that perspective, if you have that perspective and you are looking at me, you say, well, it's only possible to have one good idea, isn't it? And then I come along and I say, I just talk. And it would dawn on anybody special that you can have 100 good ideas every day. I could sit down and have people enter a room and say, I need an idea for this. It doesn't have to be about a film. I need an idea for this. I say, here, go. You can go now. I'll have 10%. Next, number 2 comes in. I need to know how to dry myself faster after having a bath. Oh, this. You know, I'm not going to tell you what it is now because, you know, it could be stolen. This is public. But you get the idea. So, yeah, that's something people misunderstand. They misunderstand the power of amazing creativity. And I'd love to say, you can have it too. And you know, if I said, oh, you can have it too, and I sold an ebook, be a millionaire. but I will not trick people. You have your limitations. I'm sure you're good at something. Keep doing that.